Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live here in the city of Memphis, state of Tennessee, in the county of Shelby. And today's date is early Monday morning, December 29, 2014. The time is 12:45 a.m. I want to first say thank you to all my fans, my support, for your continued encouragement and support. I'm continuing to keep myself employed at a company here in the city of Memphis, state of Tennessee, in the county of Shelby. Right there, called Ameripride, right there on the corner of Vans Avenue and Walnut Street. And I'm continuing to further my education at a school called Monroe College Online. I'm pursuing my associate's degree. I study business administration with a concentration in marketing. And like I said, I want to first say thank you to all my fans, my supporters, for continuing encouraging and supporting. As I inform my fans, my supporters, I did record my music, and then I also made a music video. And with the people I was dealing with, One Sound Studio, and this dude that I met through One Sound Studio, this little dude at this Wicked Film. They call themselves gonna try to steal my money or whatever. Well, I'm not the person to be telling nobody that you stole no money from me, because that's a lie. And I'm not gonna let nobody steal not one penny from me. And I got in contact with my attorney, and my attorney is in the process of making sure we get this thing in the court, and we're gonna make sure that they don't never tell nobody that they got away with stealing no money from me. And like I always let my fans know, just because One Sound Studio didn't give me no receipt, there ain't no excuse for you to be walking around here thinking you're gonna steal some money from me and try to make it sound like, well, you ain't got no receipt, you ain't got no proof. I got a CD with 3 copies of music that I bought back in May. And so I'm still working on my music and my entertainment interest. And as for that video, it's the same thing. I'm contact my attorney, at the first of the year, go show him the same thing. That you walking around here trying to tell somebody you stole some money from me. No, you ain't finna tell nobody you stole not one penny from me. No, you ain't get away with doing that. You ain't get away with stealing no money from me. And I'm gonna put this back in. I'm gonna make sure I cut it off. As soon as I put it in, it'll start playing. But on today's video, we're gonna continue to talk about African traditional religion, West African traditional religion. Okay, I had to make sure I cut it off, because soon I put the CD in there, it'll start playing on the media player. But okay, we're gonna review some very, very important information. Very important information. Valid argument, invalid argument, a deductive argument, inductive argument. It's very important about arguments. Then you have a conductive argument. Then you have a sound argument and an unsound argument. Then you have a defeasible argument, you have a transitional argument, and you have a transcendental argument. You have an abductive argument. Okay, some of the very important words you need to know is premise, Premise, conclusion, reference, and research. Very important words. Then you have three types of arguments: Rogerian, Rogerian, Tolman, Toulman, and classical argument. Then you have practical argument. Then you have two types of arguments: Aristotelian or adversarial argument. I spell it Aristotelian, or adversarial, Adversarial, and Rogerian, Rogeran, or consensus building, Consensus. Four types of arguments with its own style: argument by authority or assertion, argument by sign, argument by example, and an argument by cause. All right. Now, some important information, very important. Harvard University is the oldest institution of higher learning in the United States, founded on March 13, 1639 in Cambridge, Massachusetts. William and Mary College in Williamsburg, Virginia, founded February the 8th, 1693. It is the second oldest institution of higher learning here in the United States of America. Very important. Phi Beta Kappa Society, founded December the 5th, 1776. The College of William and Mary, and is recognized as the first Greek letter student society in North America. That's Phi Beta Kappa Society, founded December the 5th, 1776. At the College of William and Mary, and is recognized as the first Greek letter student society in North America. Alpha Delta Pi, first sorority, founded is 1851 Wesleyan College in Macon, Georgia. Let's go to that right quick. We're going on Wikipedia. Alpha Delta Pi is a sorority founded on May 15, 1851 at Wesleyan College in Macon, Georgia. The executive office for this sorority is located on Ponce de Leon Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia. Alpha Delta Pi was the first secret society for women at a U.S. university. All right, it says here, Alpha Delta Pi, founded by 6 women: Eugenia Tucker Fitzgerald, Elizabeth Williams Mitchell, Sophronia Woodrow Dewes, Octavia Andrew Rush, Mary Evans Glass, and Ella Pierce Turner. It said Westland College, the first college for women in the world, was chartered to grant degrees to women. All right. Now let's go over here to it says here the first organization to adopt the word sorority was Gamma Phi Beta, established on November 11, 1874, at Syracuse University in Syracuse, New York. Let's go to that. We're going on Wikipedia. Gamma Phi Beta is an international sorority that was founded on November 11, 1874, at Syracuse University in Syracuse, New York. The term sorority was coined for Gamma Phi Beta by Dr. Frank Smalley, a professor at Syracuse University. The 4 founders are Helen M. Dodge, Francis E. Hayden, E. Adeline Curtis, and Mary A. Bingham. The sorority's international headquarters are located in Centennial, Colorado. Again, that's Gamma Phi Beta. Now, Freemasonry. Euclid, the mathematician, lived in Alexandria, Egypt, 1390 to 1425, mentioned in the Halliwell manuscript or Regis poem that he began the craft of masonry, and it's mentioned in the Cook manuscript. Says here, the Regis poem or the Halliwell manuscript is Roman Catholic production. James Orchard Halliwell, published in 1840. The manuscript form belonged to Charles says here, Matthew Cook manuscript was in the hands of Mr. George Payne when in his second term as Grand Master in 1720 he compiled the General Regulations, 7 liberal arts, geometry, children of Lamech. Jabal discovered geometry and was Cain's master mason. Jubal discovered music. Tubal Cain discovered metallurgy and the art of the smith, while his daughter Name discovered weaving. Saying before the flood, all knowledge was inscribed on 2 pillars, and after the flood, both pillars were discovered, one by Pythagoras and the other by Hermes. The 7 sciences were passed down through Nimrod, the architect of the Tower of Babel, to Abraham, who taught them to the Egyptians, including Euclid, who taught masonry to the children of nobility. The crafts taught to the children of Israel, and from the Temple of Solomon found its way to France and thence to St. Albans, England. And that's where King Athelstan, had his, that's where he was located. Now, the Dowling manuscript, first published by James Dowling in the Gentleman's Magazine, May 1815. In the Dowling manuscript, King Athelstan's son is named Edwin. That's all that secret society and sororities and the fraternities and sororities. Now, the secret society, there are many secret societies. Skull and Bones, the Rosicrucian, the Sons of Liberty, the Thug Society, the Private Sign, Ordo Templi Orientis, Knights of the Golden Eagle, the Woodmen, the Arabic Order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine, the Improved Order of the Red Men, the Peel Sisterhood, Freemasonry, the Loyal Order of Moose, the Bilderberg Group, the Ku Klux Klan, the Knights of Pythias, the Knights of Columbus, the Illuminati, the Forester Society, Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, the Mystic Order of the Veiled Prophets of the Enchanted Realm, the Mystic Order of Veiled Prophets of the Enchanted Realm, United Order of the Golden Cross, United Order of Druids, the National Grands, the Ancient Order of Herminians. Those were some of the secret societies. The fraternities and sororities, they are considered secret societies. And this is another secret society. The Spanish Garduna is a Spanish secret criminal society in Spain. According to tradition, around 17, a holy man named Apolinario, who lived like a hermit in the hills around Cordova, had a vision that the Blessed Virgin Mary anointed him to be the Savior of Spain and drive the Moors out of the land. Apolinario raised an army of followers to the Garduna. Those who joined the Garduna would be absolved of all wrongdoing as long as their violence was committed against non-Christians. Then there's another society, the Carbonario, another the Black Hand, the Mafia, which is the Cosa Nostra, the Triads, the Yakuza, Lever Society, the Osiricans. All those are considered to be secret societies, the fraternity, the sorority, including also many of your street gangs. Like out there in Los Angeles, California, the Blood Street Gang, the Crip Street Gang, and all these other kind of street gangs. Like up there in Chicago, Illinois, you got, for example, they call them the Folk Street Gang and My People Street Gang, and so on and so on. Don't even paying attention to that. Out there in Los Angeles, they number of followers for the street gangs in Chicago. Now, when we talk about African traditional religion, West African traditional religion, uh, we don't never just add add you don't take different languages and try to um, put that in, because when you say African traditional religion, West African traditional religion is a specific group of people, a specific location. You understand? And you know, you don't make up innovative things like that, because you have to always remember that there are many groups of people walking around on the African continent, and you may call it, even the professors and even the scholars themselves will tell you about saying African, then saying traditional, and saying religion. So that's the reason why you don't just go around saying this is African traditional religion or that is African traditional religion. But right now, we're gonna go to the National Open University of Nigeria's online courseware, and then because they put this information there, nobody hacked the computer or anything. This is the information that they put there, the online courseware. This is an actual school that's located in Nigeria. And when we talk about African traditional religion, see, these are things uh, that are studied in addition with African traditional religion and society, CTH, religion and society, CTH 001, introduction to the study of religion, CTH 003, introduction to philosophy, CTH 009, philosophy of religion, CTH 043, scrolling down, going down the list. Okay, now, introduction to linguistics, 1, LIN 111, and introduction to linguistics 2, LIN 112, introduction to sociology, CSS 111, introduction to psychology, CSS 121, introduction to philosophy, CTH 131, introduction to African traditional religion, CTH 192, Introduction to the Study of Religion, CTH 173. Religion and Society, CTH 151. Com- Comparative Study of Religion, CTH 202. Sociology of Religion, CTH 352. African Traditional Religion and Culture, CTH 491. Now let me go back over the Introduction to Applied Linguistics, ENG 351. Introduction to Sociolinguistics, ENG 355. Go back down here. Psycholinguistics, ENG 491. Theology of African Traditional Religion, CTH 792. And again, this is the National Open University of Nigeria's online courseware. This is an actual university in the African nation of Nigeria. What I was just showing is some of the courses, classes, whatever, that are related to African traditional religion, West African traditional religion. And I'm gonna refer to some right fast. When we talk about African traditional religion, West African traditional religion, there are many downloads. There's information that's online that you can download, such as Dr. Joseph Omasede Awolelu, his essay, very important essay, What is African Traditional Religion? Very important essay. I recommend each and everyone that's listening download this essay by Dr. Joseph Omasede Awolelu, What is African Traditional Religion? Introduction to the Study of African Traditional Religion, Dr. T.L. G. Mariah of the Department of Religious Studies. Uh, this is another download I recommend. Very, very important download. I recommend each and every one that's listening download this download. Introduction to the Study of African Traditional Religion, Dr. T.L. G. Mariah. The Impact of Colonialism on African Indigenous Religion by Dr. Joseph S. G. Bender, PhD, Department of Religion and Philosophy, Benue State University, Makurdi, Nigeria. Get this download. Go online and download The Impact of Colonialism on African Indigenous Religion. God, Divinities, and Spirits in African Traditional Religion Ontology. Reverend Emike C. Ikiki and Dr. Chiki A. Ikiopera. Get this download. Another download that you can find online is very important. The reason for studying African religion in post-colonial Africa. Uh, Dr. Julius Matugi Gathongo. Julius Matugi Gatogo. Last name Gathogo. First name Julius, Julius. Middle name Matugi, Mutugi. The reason for studying African religion in post-colonial Africa. The Study of African Traditional Religion and Its Challenges in Contemporary Times. Rotimi Williams Omotoyi, Department of Religion, University of Ilorin, Nigeria. Get this download. Emerging Key Issues in the Study of African Traditional Religion by Christopher I. Ijazu. The last name spelled Ejizu. African Traditional Religion, a Conceptual and Philosophical Analysis. Reverend Emike C. Ikiki, University of Calabar, Nigeria. Get this download. Now, sometimes there are times when you be looking for a book, and you might not be able to find that book. Sometimes you can find that book as a PDF online, or it can be in a journal or something like that. Well, Dr. Joseph Omaseni Awolelu, one of his books is in a journal, the American Academy of Religion, Oxford Journals, Sin and Its Removal in African Traditional Religion. And it's a I download this offline. Now, this this is this is a book that I download offline, African Traditional Religion by Professor Aloysius M. Yugiri. I downloaded the whole book off of, it was online, I downloaded the whole book. So you too can download this entire book online. Again, the name of the book, the title. Again, the title of the book, African Traditional Religion, Professor Aloysius M. Yugiri. This is another book that I downloaded online, Odinani, the Igbo Religion. And the author of the book, Emmanuel Kenluchukwu and Izobe. And again, the title of the book, Odinani, the Igbo Religion. This is the download of the National Open University of Nigeria's online courseware, Introduction to African Traditional Religion, CTH 192. This is National Open University of Nigeria, School of Arts and Social Science, course code CTH 491, African Traditional Religion and Culture. Theology of African Traditional Religion. This is National Open University of Nigeria. The course code is 692. Now, we'll talk about the books. Dr. Joseph Omasani, Ewalela, and Professor P. Adelumo Dopemu, they wrote a book, West African Traditional Religion. Recommend you get that book. And also Dr. John S. M. Beatty, last name M-B-I-T-I, M. Beatty. Recommend you get these two books, Concepts of God in Africa and The Prayers of African Religion. Dr. John S. M. Beatty, African Religions and Philosophy. Get this book. Introduction to African Religion, Dr. John S. M. Beatty. Get this book. African Traditional Religion, a definition, E. Balogi Adawu, Get this book. This the book we were talking about the definition of religion, religio, and all that. Get this book. The author of these two books, Jacob K. Olupone, African Traditional Religion and Contemporary Society, and African Spirituality, Forms, Meanings, and Expression. Get these two books. Spirit Masters, An Introduction to African Religion. The author is Dr. Malifi Kiti Asante and Dr. Amike Inwadiora. Right. Get, get this book. Also, uh, there's another book Dr. Malifa Kiti Asante wrote. Also, he wrote the book with another doctor, Dr. Ame Mezeme. I spell her name. First name A-M-A, last name M-A-Z-A-M-A. And the book that they wrote together is the Encyclopedia of African Religions. And again, the book is titled Encyclopedia of African Religion, Dr. Molifi Kiti Asante and Dr. Ame Mezeme. African Religion, Word Religion. Now, this book is also written by Dr. Professor Eloshis M. Lugira. Yaru Beliefs and Sacrificial Rites, Dr. Joseph Omaseni Ewolelu. African Tradition in the Study of Religion, Diaspora, and Gender Societies, by Afi Adogami, Ezra Chatundo, and Balaji Bati. African Traditions in the Study of Religion in Africa, the same authors, Afi Adogami, Ezra Chatundo, and Balaji Bati. Now we're finna go online and finna go to Wikipedia. We're gonna first go to Arab slave trade, then we're gonna go to Atlantic slave trade. We're going to the Arab slave trade first. Okay. Now, when we talk about slavery in East Africa, you know, the coast, the east coastline of Africa, the eastern coastline of Africa, uh, slavery was being practiced in northern Africa, and then like I say, when we talk about slavery on the eastern coast, you know, slavery was practiced in northern Africa, in the Horn of Africa, in Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somalia. You know, slavery was being practiced. And even then, the people who were being enslaved were the Bantu in the Horn of Africa. It was the Bantu who were being made slaves. And it talks about slavery in Central Africa and West Africa. And then when you talk about Africa, slavery in the Great Lakes. And we talk about in the Great Lakes area, you're talking about in that region how slavery of the Bantu people extended it extended outward. It didn't just stay in that area like it was in the Horn of Africa mostly. Like it says in the Horn of Africa, mostly domesticated. The slaves were domestic, you know, in the house, and they were, you know, they were treated in a certain way. But when you get to the Great Lakes region, the slaves, but not just domestic. It was slaves that was people were taken from the coast of Africa, from the continent Africa, and was shipped, transported, sent to Arabia, to the Arabian Peninsula. They were sent to places like Persia, China, and India, Southeast Asia, West Asia, places like that. And one of the main slave traders was a person named Tip Through Tip. He was Swahili, and when you talk about his parentage and things of this nature, his mother was a Muscat. She was an Arab, Muscat Arab of the ruling class, and his father and maternal grandfather, they were Swahili too. And Tip Through Tip built up a big, he became very wealthy because of slave trading, and he had a lot of influence because of slave trading, and that on Zanzibar, off the coast of Tanzania, many other people who were Bantu were transported from Tanzania around the Great Lakes area to the island of Zanzibar, and from Zanzibar they were sent to Persia, China, they were sent to India, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iraq, Iran, Syria. They were sent all over West Asia, and but the people were Bantu. They were called Zans, Z-A-N-J, Zans, and when you say that, when you referring to the Bantu people, and Tip Through Tip, he was one of the main slave traders of the Bantu people, but he was a Swahili himself. But looking at the time, and Tip Through Tip, he was acquainted with what's his name, Henry Morton Stanley. He was an explorer. Stanley was an explorer. Him and Stanley Livingston. I mean, you were familiar with Livingston and Stanley and Livingston, two explorers. Well, Tip Through Tip was familiar, and he was acquainted with Henry Morton Stanley, the explorer. Now, Tip Through Tip, he died June 13, 1905 of malaria. So he was still alive even when slavery in America, the Civil War ended in 1865. Before 1870. But Tip Through Tip was still alive, and after he had sent all the people, he was involved not only in the East African slave trade, but because of slavery, slave routes and things of nature, he was also involved in the Atlantic slave trade. Another trader, slave trader, was Marambo. He was an Inyamweezy warlord from in between from 1860 1884. Then he dealt with ivory, but he dealt with slaves. Now it says Marambo started as a trader and owned trade caravans traveling from the Great Lakes region. Who was in the Great Lakes region? Tip through tip in western Tanzania to the coast, mostly dealing with ivory slaves. Okay, it says here. Now, Marambo was opposed to Henry Morton Stanley because Henry Morton Stanley was allies of the Arab slave trade. Now, there's another person. Now, another very important person in the slave trade was Msiri. He also was a Mnyamwezi, but he was from Tabora in Tanzania, and he was a trader in ivory, copper, and in slavery. Now, Msiri became he founded and ruled the kingdom, the Yiki kingdom. Go down here where his strategy said. Now it says Msiri also submitted alliances with other powerful trading partners through marriage. His favorite wife, said to be Maria de Fonseca, sister of his Portuguese Angolan trading partner Coimbra. Msiri married one of his own daughters to Tip through Tip. See, Tip through Tip and Msiri, they had this relationship. Msiri married one of his own daughters to Tip through Tip. Tip through Tip married one of Msiri's daughters. Now, Msiri's wife, one of his wives, Maria de Fonseca, she was the daughter of a Portuguese Angolan trader, and she was married to Msiri, one of his wives. They said that it says according to history, Maria had betrayed Msiri to the Belgians, and so his adopted son and successor Mukande Bantu beheaded Maria with a machete while standing behind her and shouting to the crowd, "I am Mukande Bantu, the one who walks over his foes. See, that was M Series adopted son. Now let's go over and see what happened to M Series. It says here, mm, uh, what I find it. Um, okay. Okay, that's what it said. Okay, Maria was the daughter of mixed Portuguese African parents from Angola, was also the sister Congress, the first trader to supply him with gunpowder from the west coast. The key to instant. Now, okay, here it says 1891. Maria was about 45 years old and she was about 60. It had been ruler of Katanga for 30 years, but treaty negotiated with MC reached stalemate. Christian D. Champs, third officer of the expedition, proposed capturing MC and holding hostage. MC typically had 300 armed warriors at his stockade, but D. Champs had discovered that every night he would leave with just a handful of guards to visit Maria at her compound nearly a kilometer away. That's what I was wondering. According to the Stairs Expedition, Dr. Joseph Malone and third officer Christian D. Champs, when negotiations at stalemate, MC reacted to an ultimatum and the Stairs flying the CFS flag without his consent by departing in the night to a fortified village at Monime on the outskirts of Banquille. The next day, 20 December 1891, Stairs sent his second in command, Belgian Lieutenant Omer Batson, with deep champs and 100 Askaris to arrest MC. Despite deep champs' concerns about the danger, Batson went into Monima with a dozen men and confronted MC in front of about 300 of his warriors. MC said nothing but in anger started to draw the sword, which had been given a gift to Stairs. Batson drew his revolver and shot MC 3 times, killing him. A fight erupted. Batson was shot and mortally wounded by one of MC's men, died later. So MC was killed from a gunshot wound. Now we're going to go over to the Atlantic slave trade. See, that's the reason why when you look at the slave routes from the east, see, MC had slave routes going to the west, and his wife, Maria de Fonseca, she was Angolan. MC had trade routes, so he was in relation with Tip through Tip. Tip through Tip married one of his wives, one of his daughters. Tip through Tip and MC had alliance with one another. So the slave route, Tip through Tip was involved not only in the East African slave trade, but he was also involved in the West in Atlantic slave trade. The Atlantic slave trade is customarily divided into two eras, known as the First and Second Atlantic system. The First Atlantic system was the trade of enslaved Africans to primarily South American colonies of the Portuguese and Spanish empires. It accounted for slightly more than 3% of all Atlantic slave trade. It started on a significant scale in about 1502 and lasted until 1580 when Portugal was temporarily united with Spain. While the Portuguese were directly involved in trading enslaved people, the Spanish Empire relied on the Asentio system, awarding merchants, mostly from other countries, liking to trade enslaved people to their colony. During the First Atlantic system, most of these traded with Portuguese, giving them a near monopoly during the era. Such Dutch, English, and French traders also participated in slave trade. The Second Atlantic system was the trade of enslaved Africans by mostly English, Portuguese, French, and Dutch traders. The main destination of this phase were the Caribbean colonies and Brazil, as European nations built up economically slave-dependent colonies in the New World. Slightly more than 3% of the enslaved people exported from Africa were traded between 1450 and 1600, and 16% in the 17th century. It is estimated more than half of the entire slave trade took place during the 18th century, with the British, Portuguese, and French being the main carriers of 9 out of 10 abducted from Africa. By the 1690s, the English were shipping the most slaves from West Africa. They maintained this position during the 18th century, becoming the biggest shippers of slaves across the Atlantic. The slave market reason and participation. There were 8 principal areas used by Europeans to buy and ship slaves to the Western Hemisphere. The number of enslaved people sold to the New World varied throughout the slave trade. As for the distribution of slaves for reasons acting in certain areas produced far more enslaved people than others. Between 1650 and 1900, 10.24 million enslaved Africans arrived in America from the following regions in the following proportion: Senegal, and the Gambia 4.8%, Upper Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea and Sierra Leone 4.1%, Wimble Coast, Liberia, Cote d'Ivoire 1.8%, Gold Coast, Ghana and of Cote d'Ivoire, 10.4% Bina, Benin, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria, west of the Niger Delta, 20.2% Bina, Biafra, Nigeria, east of the Niger Delta, Cameroon, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, 14.6%, West Central Africa, Republic of Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Angola, 39.4%, Southeastern Africa, Mozambique, and Madagascar, 4.7%. Ethnic groups. The different ethnic groups brought to the America closely correspond to the regions of heaviest activity in the slave trade. Over 45 distinct ethnic groups were taken to the America during the trade. Of the 45, the 10 most prominent according to slave documentation of the era are listed below. Number 1, the Bakongo or the Democratic Republic of Congo, Angola. Number 2, the Mandi of Upper Guinea. Number 3, the Gibi speakers of Togo, Ghana, and Benin. Adja, Mina, Iwi, and Fon. Number 4, the Akan of Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire. Number 5, the Wolof of Senegal and the Gambia. Number 6, the Igbo of southeastern Nigeria. Number 7, Mbundu of Angola, include both Mbundu and Ovenbundu. Number 8, the Yoruba of southwestern Nigeria. Number 9, the Chambe of Cameroon. Number 10, the Macau of Mozambique. The first slaves to arrive as part of the labor force in the New World reached the island of Hispaniola, now Haiti and Jamaica, in 1502. Cuba received its first 4 slaves in 1513. Jamaica received its first shipment of 4,000 slaves in 1518. Slave exports to Honduras and Guatemala started in 1526. The first enslaved Africans to reach what would become the United States arrived in January 1526 as part of a Spanish attempt to colonize South Carolina near Jamestown. By November, the 300 Spanish colonists were reduced to 100 and their slaves from 100 to 70. The enslaved people revolted and joined a nearby Native American tribe, while the Spanish abandoned the colony altogether. Colombia received its first enslaved people in 1533. El Salvador, Costa Rica, and Florida began their stints in the slave trade 1541, 1563, 1581 respectively. The 17th century saw an increase in shipments with Africans arriving in the English colony of Jamestown, Virginia in 1619. The first kidnapped Africans were classified as indentured servants and freed after 7 years. Chattel slavery was codified in Virginia law in 1656. In the 1660, the colony adopted the principle of partus sequestrum, which meant children of slave mothers were slaves. Regardless of paternity, Irish immigrants took slaves to Montserrat. In 1651 and 1655, slavery was shipped to Belize. By 1800, the Russian colony noted that Boston, U.S.-based skippers were trading African slaves for otter pelts with the Tlingit people in southeast Alaska. It says here that the distribution of slaves 1519 1860 was designated Portuguese America 38.5%, British America minus North America 18.4%, Spanish Empire 17.5%, French Americans 13.6%, British North America 6.45%, English Americans 3.25%, Dutch West Indies 2.0%, Danish West Indies 0.3%. The number of Africans arrived in each area can be calculated taking into consideration that the total number of slaves was close to 10 million. Now, like we been discussing, when it comes to the East African slave trade, which is the Arab slave trade, you know, the Bantu people, which is referred to as Zanj, Z-A-N-J, and the East African slave trade, which was heavily uh, controlled by a Swahili trader named Tip Tip on the island, and he had a base slave, base in Zanzibar, which is the island off the coast of Tanzania, and he was also involved in the Atlantic slave trade through his alliance with Msiri through marriage. He married one of Msiri's daughters. Msiri was an Mnyamwezi trader, and who also uh, was involved in slave trade from through Tanzania, the Great Lakes, all the way over to Angola and so on. And Marambo also was a trader in Mnyamwezi, and also was in alliance with Tipu Tip. And when we talk about slavery, there are people in the diaspora who are living outside the continent of Africa, whose ancestors were from the east coast of Africa in the Great Lakes area, and also like myself, my ancestors from the west coast, from the west coast of Africa, living here in the Western Hemisphere, and all those that are living outside the continent of Africa, and whose ancestors were from the eastern coast, when they see all the people that are living outside of the African continent in the Western Hemisphere, see, people need to embrace their ancestry. And the people who are Niger Congo, who are aware of the historical record, also should demand that people acknowledge, recognize, embrace your ancestry, and learn how to live as the people who your ancestors were descended from, who are now living in Africa today, who are still living in Africa today, in those same regions. Then you should learn the culture of the people living in on the African continent today. Now, we're going to go to the languages and the maps. Afro-Asiatic. The Afro-Asiatic language family is consisted of the Berber, the Chadic, the Cushitic, the Egyptian, Omani, and the Semitic. Now, the Semitic is an Afro-Asiatic language, and the people that are considered Semitic are the Arabic, Amharic, the Hebrew, Tigrinya, and Aramaic. Now, when we talk about Hebrew, now the Canaanite is a Semitic language. Hebrew and Phoenician are two major branches of the subfamily Canaanite. Now, Phoenician and Punic is extinct. Now, the Hebrew Ammonite, Moabite, Edomite are all extinct. Biblical Hebrew is extinct. Yemenite Hebrew, Mizrahi, and Tiberian Hebrew, Sephardic Hebrew, Ashkenazi Hebrew, Mishneh Hebrew, Medieval Hebrew, Haskalah Hebrew, Modern Hebrew, and Israeli Hebrew, Ancient Samaritan Hebrew, Samaritan Hebrew. Then you have the Omatic. Omatic is an Afro-Asiatic language, and there are many branches of the Omatic. Then you have Egyptian. Scholars group the Egyptian language into 6 major chronological divisions: Archaic Egyptian language, Old Egyptian language, Middle Egyptian language, Late Egyptian language, Demotic Egyptian language, and Coptic Egyptian language. Now, the Cushitic language is a branch of the Afro-Asiatic language, and the Cushitic language are classified as Bayer, North Cushitic, Central Cushitic, Agag, Highland East Cushitic, Sidamic, Lowland East Cushitic, Dale, and South Cushitic. Now, you had a Chadic, is an Afro-Asiatic language. Now, the Chadic has branches. We have the West Chadic, has 2 branches: A, the Hase, Rum, Boli, and Angus language; B, Badi, Wajah, and Zara language. Then B, Madare is Central Chadic, has 3 branches: A, Bure, Kanwi, and Bete; B, Badume, Musgu, and C, Gadar. Then East Chadic has 2 branches: A, Tumac, and Siri, and Kire; B, Dangliad, Mukulu, and Socorro, and Mese. Then you have the Berber. The Berber is an Afro-Asiatic language, and there are considered to be 6 major varieties of the Berber: and Tashilkit, Kabyle, Atlas, the Mizrahi, Rifian, Shawi, and Tuareg. Now we're going to go to the Nilo-Saharan, and we on Wikipedia. We just went through the Afro-Asiatic. Now we're going to the Nilo-Saharan language family. Now, the Nilo-Saharan are classified as a language family, and some of the main language of the Nilo-Saharan are Luo, Dulo, Kanuri, including Kanimbu, Sanghe, including Zabe, Tiso, Nubian, Lubare, including Ringe, Low Lubare. Then you had Kalenjin, also including Nandai and Pokai. Lango is a Luo language. Dinka, Acholi is another Luo language. Masai and Gambe, the Nua, the Fur, and the Tubu. And Tubu has 2 dialects, the Zage and Tidage. Now we're going to the Niger, Congo, A and B's on Wikipedia. Niger Congo, many other traditional like the Kordofanian languages around the Nube Mountains in Sudan, Central Sudan. The Mandi include Bambara, Soniki, the Ijaw in Nigeria, including Ijaw and Tafake, the Dogon that's in Mali. The Atlantic includes Bolo and Fule, the Crew, including BT and Yahweh and Dade, Sinufo and Sinari and Sutyari, the Gur languages, including Moor and Burkina, that's in Burkina Faso, and the Manway language, which includes Chambe, and Bunji language, Sango, Kwe, which include Lacan, Volta Niger, equal West Benue Congo, the Jibi languages, including Iwi, the Yoruba, and Igbo, spoken in Nigeria. Now you have the East Benue Congo, the large Bantu family, Swahili, Fang, Congo and Zulu, and many other languages. Now, we're going to go to the Kordofan branch, then the Mandi branch, Bambara, Manike, Mide, Sonike, Dan, Jule, Mandinka, Capella, Susa. Then you have your Atlantic branch, which is for the Dogon, Ijaw, your Crew, Gur, which is Moor, Sinufo, Sibare, Mamare, and Sutyari. Then your Adamanwe and your Bunjin group, Umuyi, Njibake, Sango, Zandi, then your Kwe language, Akan, Ashanti, Iwi, Bali, Fon, Gaydami, and Anyin. Then you have your Yoruba, Edo, Igbo, and you have your Nupe and your Adome. You have your Kaji, Biron, and Tewa, that's in your Plateau. Then you have your Cross River, your Abibo, and Efik. Then you go down to the Teal, Jarawa, Tikaroa, Mamalord, and Decord. Then you have your Ecord, Inyang. Then you have all your Bantu language, BT, Fang, Bengali, Kikuyu, Kambe, Gusi, Miru, Sukume, Inyambisi, Swahili, Gogo, Ketube, Duwende, Mbudu, Congo, Yake, Ganda, Chiga, Inyakori, Soga, Heye, Luyi, Nanda, Runde, Rundi, Hey. Then you have your Lube, Sangi, Tunge. Then you have Inyanje, Tombake, Sine, Makue, Yao, Ngulu, Makandi, Mbandu, Hiriro, Shone, North Soto, and then you have your South Soto, Tiswane, Inda. You have your South Indabili, Loza, and you have your North Indabili. Then you have your Zulu, Tisange, Hose, Tiswe, Range, Chopa, and Dende. Those are all Niger Congo A and B, and there are many others. Then you have your Koi and your San groups. Now you know your Koi and your San group, those are your clique consonant, and then through intermarriage, some of the Niger Congo had intermarried with the Koi and the San, and also speak with the clique consonant. And then you have your Austronesian, which is your Malayo-Polynesian, named on the island of Madagascar, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, so on. Excuse me. But now we're going to look at the maps of these language groups. Okay, this is what I'm finna show. What I'm showing you now. This is a map of all the African languages on the African continent and about, extending from Africa. But this is a map of all the African languages. Now, in the northern part, north, that's where you're located. Your Berbers, Mauritania, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, and Libya. Then in Egypt is where the Egyptian language is spoken, but also Arabic. Now, in the northern area, also they've adopted the Arabic language, but the Arabic language is an Afro-Asiatic language. So in the north of Africa, the Afro-Asiatic is predominantly located in the northern part of Africa. And now over here on the horn of Africa is where your Omatic and your Amharic and your Kushite. Over there in Somalia, that's where your Omatic. That's where your Kushite is in Somalia. Now your Omatic and Amharic is in Ethiopia. And then you have your Chadic group concentrated and located around Nigeria and in Niger and with, Niger and some parts of Sudan. That's where the Chadic are located. And then you have your Nilo-Saharan. Now you have some of your Nilo-Saharan that are located over by Mali, the Sanghay. Even though in Mali you know that the Niger Congo is predominant. When you look it up on the demographics of the country of Mali, the demographic, the Niger Congo is the predominant ethnic group, and the Sanghay is a minority included in the country of Mali. But the Nilo-Saharan is the Sanghay is the Nilo-Saharan around Mali, and then in Sudan, southern Sudan, the Dinka and the North and many of those. Then in northeastern Nigeria, you had some of your Nilo-Saharan, Kanuri, and then around the Great Lakes area, you had the Maasai. I'm showing this map first. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I'm showing you the whole continent of Africa. And then you have your Niger Congo. Your Niger Congo. And then it take up a large area, a lot of space on the African continent. And now your Khoisan, mainly around Namibia and Botswana. And then you have a small group of Khoisan around Tanzania. And then you have your Austronesian on the island of Madagascar. I'm gonna get the other map. Now, this is a little bigger. Now, we was talking about the Afro-Asiatic. Mauritania, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya. Those countries are predominant. They speak Arabic, but those are your Berber countries. See, Egypt Egypt speaks Egyptian, but they were accepted the Arabic language. But Arabic and Egyptian are both Afro-Asiatic languages. And then you have your Amharic and Omatic in Ethiopia. Then you have your Kushite in Somalia. Then you have your Chadic group, which is a large group of Hassa around Nigeria. So that's mainly what is Afro-Asiatic. They're in the northern part of Africa, Afro-Asiatic. Then you have your Nilo-Saharan. You see all the yellow? That's your Nilo-Saharan. The country of Chad, some of Sudan. The Sahel over here in Mali. That's where your Nilo-Saharan. And then over here in the Great Lakes area, you have some Nilo-Saharan. Down in Tanzania, Uganda, and Kenya, that's where the Maasai are Nilo-Saharan. Then on this map, you see Niger Congo. That's your Niger Congo. And also this Niger Congo. Except in the green is the core of the sand. And then you see the Australasia. And get this other map. This is another map that shows the languages of Africa. The classification down the back, that's the core in the sand. This shows the Afro-Asiatic. This map here shows the Afro-Asiatic. This map also shows the Afro-Asiatic. This map here shows Nilo-Sahara. These are the Nilo-Sahara. There's a map showing where the Nilo-Sahara are located. This is another map that shows the Nilo-Sahara location. Now, this is a map showing Niger, Congo, A and B. This is a map showing Niger, Congo, A and B. You see over there? That's the quarterfinals over there by the Nuba Mountains in Sudan. Quarterfinals. This is a map showing Nigeria. Now, you see Yoruba, you see the Tiv, you see the Igbo, you see the Nupe, you see the Edo, you see Adome, right next door to the Tiv. Now, in the north up there, you see Hase, and then over there in the northeast, you see Kanuri, that's a Nilo-Saharan. Those now you see the Hase, Afro-Asiatic. That's what I was telling about on the other video about Boko Haram in the northeast. And who in the northeast? The Nilo-Saharan, Kanuri. Who is this right here? That's the Chadic, the Hase, the Chadic, Afro-Asiatic. The Afro-Asiatic and the Nilo-Saharan fighting. This is a map of Nigeria. You know over there when they be talking about in the Horn of Africa, that other terrorist group, Al-Shabaab, they were in Somalia, they cushioned it. You know, they've been having some incidents where some of the Somali have moved down to Kenya, the northeastern, to the northern parts of Kenya. And that's what it is. It's the Al-Shabaab trying to kill the Somali who were living in Kenya. But at the same time, you remember they had that explosion at the mall last year. Well, that was this year, last year. Some of them Americans, some were Americans who came from America and was at the mall. The terrorist incident. That's Somalia right there. This is another map of Niger Congo. This is Niger Congo. And it's the quarterfinals. Right there in Sudan. See down at the bottom. It's the quarterfinal. It's right there in Sudan, in the Nubé Mountains. Again, I'm going to end this video. Again, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live here in the city of Memphis, state of Tennessee, in the county of Shelby. And I want to thank all my fans, my supporters for your continued encouragement and support. And coming up on the new year, 2015, and I want to wish everybody a happy new year. And take care of yourself and wish each and every one of you the very best.